The recent death of the Iranian president shocked the world. What does it mean for the U.S.? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi and his foreign minister have died. They reportedly crashed while riding a helicopter back from the border with Azerbaijan this past Sunday. Our deepest condolences go out to the helicopter. As of this recording, there's been no confirmation of foul play, but that didn't stop Iran from blaming the U.S. Iran has been through this before. Raisi isn't the first Iranian president to die while in office. Back in 1981, the People's Mohadim Organization of Iran assassinated Iran's then president and prime minister by bomb. So while Raisi's death is a lot less explosive in comparison, it still received quite a lot of international attention. Many, including some in the U.S., expressed their condolences. As a matter of fact, the UN responded to Raisi's death by giving him a moment of silence and lowering the UN flag to half-mast. If they really wanted to honor Raisi's memory while the flag was lowered, they should have used it to cover a woman's head and threatened to kill her if she wore it improperly. China's communist leader Xi Jinping also offered his condolences through a spokesperson. His unfortunate death is a great loss to the Iranian people, and the Chinese people have also lost a good friend. Ironic, considering that Iran purged its country of communists. But wow, so many thoughts and prayers for Iran's president. He must have been one hell of a guy to earn that much respect. Actually, his nickname was the Butcher of Tehran. He started his career persecuting minorities and took part in the death commissions that tortured and executed thousands of political prisoners at the Ayatollah's behest. Raisi later became chairman of a shady Iranian charity trust network that supports things like terrorism and spying. Even before he eventually became president in 2021, he became a major headache to the U.S. After the U.S. conducted a fatal drone strike on Iranian Quds Force commander Qasem Soleimani for his role in targeting U.S. soldiers, Raisi threatened to assassinate Trump. Who did he think he was? Liberal uncles at Thanksgiving? Not too long after that, the U.S. uncovered plots to kill U.S. officials Mike Pompeo and John Bolton. Raisi was also very big on pushing Iran's nuclear weapons program. Under Raisi's leadership, Iran accelerated its highly enriched uranium production. In fact, UN inspectors haven't been able to access some crucial facilities in Iran's nuclear program since February 2021. But don't worry, I'm sure Iran isn't hiding anything. You know what? I'm just being paranoid. After all, Iran's a champion for arms control and disarmament. Even after Biden took office, Raisi still didn't want to play nice. Despite the Biden administration granting him a visa to speak at the UN, Raisi refused to talk with Biden and ranted against the U.S., demanding that it provide guarantees to stick to a new nuclear deal with Iran if one is ever reached, which amazingly is an improvement. This is like meeting an acquaintance and they blow up at you, figuratively, and you say, wow, he's really mellowed out. He didn't plot to assassinate me once. Raisi wasn't exactly the type to play nice with Americans, though he did let 60-Minute host Leslie Stahl interview him, as long as she wore a hijab. Much like his earlier years, Raisi's final years were also full of violence. Not too long ago, with Raisi as president, we saw the Iranian morality police kill a 22-year-old girl for not abiding by Iran's strict clothing regulations. And when other women around Iran rallied in protest because of her death, Iranian security forces molested and killed a 16-year-old girl at the protest because she was suspected of being a leader in the protests. Iranian forces then proceeded to crush the protests. That's so weird, because Iran's widely known as a great promoter of human rights. Man, the UN is compromised. As for other foreign policy under Raisi's leadership, Iran also exported violence by providing drones for Russia to use in its invasion of Ukraine. And who could forget Iran's proxy Hamas attacking Israel, on top of arming and training groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis. Iran even directly launched missiles and drones at Israel earlier this year. So yeah, that's Raisi's legacy. So is it really surprising that there were quite a number of Iranians living abroad cheering after hearing about his death? They must not have got the memo from the UN that it's a time of mourning. With Raisi now dead, what happens next? How will his death affect Iran and the world at large? Well, keep in mind that the guy who really calls the shots in Iran is the Ayatollah. So it's not like Iran's foreign policy is going to radically change. Raisi was just one of many players influencing and directing Iranian policies. So at the moment, Iran's vice president is filling in as interim president. By Iranian law, new elections have to be held within 50 days. Iranian state media says the elections to choose a new president will take place on June 28th this year. And I'm sure those elections will be fair and transparent as the hole through the head of anyone who dares question them. But there are bigger problems. Ayatollah Khamenei is 85 years old. There had been speculations that Raisi was being groomed to replace him, but with him now dead, Khamenei will need some other candidate. Some believe the next likely candidate for Ayatollah will be Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei. According to a professor at St. Andrews University, it's either Mojtaba or his brother Mustafa. But honestly, that's far from certain. Reuters was told by an Iranian source that Khamenei has indicated opposition to his son's candidacy. It really wouldn't look good to have hereditary rule like the US-backed Shah monarchy that the Ayatollah overthrew. Kind of goes against everything he fought against. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran, after all, not the Islamic monarchy of Iran. I mean, we wouldn't want to see an evil regime hold on to power and oppress the Iranian people now, would we? Only time will tell what happens next. In the meantime, again, we'd like to offer our condolences to that helicopter. Rest in power, my whirly bird friend. But if you want updates, then subscribe to America Uncovered. And while you're at it, why not support America Uncovered? All it takes is $1 an episode on the crowdfunding website patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. I usually make about 12 episodes a month, but if that's too much for you, you can always set a monthly limit. You can help me continue to uncover America for just $1 a month. And as a thank you, I'll respond to your questions or comments. Today's comes from Joe King. Chris, does the reptilian overclass living under Catalina Island have cameras monitoring the ice walls circling our flat Earth? Well, that's a silly question. Obviously, the reptilian overlords have psychic powers to monitor the ice walls. They don't need our primitive cameras to do that. Thanks, Joe King. And thank you for watching. Hit that orange button to support the show on Patreon. And if you didn't know, I also talk about news, politics, and philosophy through the lens of gaming on my new show, Deep Thoughts While Gaming. The latest is about why bottle caps in the game Fallout makes no sense as a currency, and neither does the US dollar. Click here and let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.